This episode of Tech News Day is sponsored by Drop and Mack Weldon. More on them later, but first, some news.
Now, whether or not you want to admit that it's part of a larger man-made trend, there sure has been an unusually high amount of very bad natural disasters lately. And when faced with serious problems for our planet, we must ask ourselves some difficult questions. And no, we're not talking about the Amazon being on fire, because the only question there is, why is the Amazon on fire? And the answer is that people are burning it down on purpose to clear land for farming, and the Brazilian government does not give a single fuck about it because they're anti-science climate change deniers. So there you go. Yeah. No, the question on everyone's minds this week is, what if we nuked a hurricane?
That's apparently a question that the president of these United States has asked national security officials multiple times during his presidency. And this is all according to a report this week out of Axios. According to their sources, during one White House briefing, Trump said something to the effect of, I got it. Why don't we nuke them? They start forming off the coast of Africa. As they're moving across the Atlantic, we drop a bomb inside the eye of the hurricane and it disrupts it. Why can't we do that? The source says the official that Trump was speaking to said something like, sir, we'll look into that. And that, quote, you could hear a gnat fart in that meeting. People were astonished. After the meeting ended, we thought, what the fuck? What do we do with this? I would say that that's probably after a lot of meetings in this White House.
Yeah, probably more earlier on than today. I'm sure they've been worn down by similar things happening on a regular basis. Yeah. But yeah, it all seems believable. Now, asked to comment officially, a senior White House official said, we don't comment on private discussions that the president may or may not have had with this national security team. So basically, yeah, it happened.
Yeah, it would have been a lot easier to say, no, that's ridiculous. Yeah. Why would anyone believe such a ridiculous statement? But apparently, that's not a go-to answer anymore. Anytime
an official of any capacity says, look, it may or may not have happened, instead of just, no, it did not happen, that's a yes. Anyway, another unnamed senior official told Axios, his goal, to keep a catastrophic hurricane from hitting the mainland, is not bad. His objective is not bad. What people near the president do is they say, I love a president who asks questions like that, who's willing to ask tough questions. It takes strong people to respond to him in the right way when stuff like this comes up. For me, alarm bells weren't going off when I heard about it, but I did think somebody's going to use this to feed into the president's crazy narrative. And they were not wrong about that. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so I agree. The objective of doing something about the hurricanes.
Noble. Good. We should be asking the hard questions.
Yes. But the follow-up, the solution to that is what the problem is because, well, there are many problems with it.
We got all these nukes. We got all these hurricanes. We're not using any of the nukes.
And I
don't know.
I also read that quote as, it takes a very strong person not to just fucking laugh in the president's face. I had to hold back laughter.
Yeah. That's what he means by the tough questions.
Yeah.
The ones that are tough to listen to and not just break out into hysterics.
Yeah. Anyways, the president, for his part, he's obviously denying all of this. He tweeted out the story by Axios that President Trump wanted to blow up large hurricanes with nuclear weapons prior to reaching shore is ridiculous. I never said this. Just more fake news. But Axios is defending their reporting, claiming there's a White House memo where this hurricane talk was recorded for posterity. And if it is in fact fake news, it seems like a pretty weird, dumb thing to sabotage your journalistic integrity over. It's much more likely that the guy who last week had a temper tantrum over not being able to buy Greenland and has claimed many times that windmills cause cancer actually probably did float the idea of nuking hurricanes at some point.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the president, it is a valid question, okay? Why don't we just nuke the hurricanes? Well, like I said, there's many reasons why, and let's get into them.
Let's look into this. Let's treat this question from the president as you treat any question.
Taking it at face value.
With an open heart and an open mind.
That's what we do here. We analyze things that might sound ridiculous to people watching, but we're going to keep our minds open for this and see how it works out.
Don't just laugh with your little closed mind. You think you know everything, you know it all? Hurricanes, nukes and hurricanes is bad? Well, explain why, genius.
We would have never made it to the moon if we didn't blow things up.
Yeah. We nuke the hurricanes not because it is easy, but because it is weird as hell.
Ridiculous.
Okay, now first off, Trump is not at all the first person to ask this very valid and normal question. In the 1930s, before nuclear weapons even existed, a Chamber of Commerce in Florida floated the idea of bombing hurricanes before they could make landfall. And following the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the mayor of Miami Beach wrote a letter directly to President Truman asking him to maybe look into whether those bombs could be used on the hurricanes that we got
We
down
can
here.
use them on all enemies, foreign, domestic, and ones that float over the sea for thousands of miles.
The greatest enemy of all, weather. And then in the late 1950s, when the US and Soviet governments were in the heat of the nuclear arms race, both countries started looking into possible non-warfare uses for nuclear weapons, and the US's Project Plowshare explored various possible actions, which was mostly just excavation. You know, there's a mountain in the way, why don't you just nuke it? But also nuking hurricanes.
Let's see, I used a bunch of dynamite to blow out this hole in a mountain to build a tunnel for a train. Now, what if we used a much, much bigger bomb?
Yeah.
Seems like it'd go a lot faster.
Yeah. I like your thinking.
Yes. Anyways, Jack W. Reed, a meteorologist working at the Sandia Laboratory in New Mexico, he presented the hurricane nuke idea at a Project Plowshare symposium in 1959. Specifically, he suggested having a submarine go underwater directly below the eye of a hurricane and just launch a bunch of nukes up into it, though he's pretty clear in his presentation that this is something that probably won't work. But we should at least try it anyway.
Yeah, how can you know for
Human
sure?
innovation is built on experimentation.
Yeah, it's you can read the whole report verbatim, and he ran the numbers. Like there's like a ton of math and physics in there, and he's like, I mean, probably not going to work, but the only way we'll know
How will
is
we
if
ever know?
If we just test it out.
Yeah. Like so many ideas in this Project Plowshare thing, such as using nukes to widen the Panama Canal.
Why not?
We never ended up trying this idea out. But the idea persisted. In 1961, the head of the U.S. Weather Bureau publicly floated the idea of someday using nuclear bombs to stop hurricanes. And that same year, after the Category 5 hurricane Carla hit Texas, newspaper editorials also discussed this potential solution. There's got to be a better way than just hunkering down and bracing for it.
Again, if we're not going to use all these fucking thousands of nukes that we've got on the Russians, why not put them to good use?
Yeah.
We're just hoarding them.
At the very least, after the hurricane floods the entire city, we can use the nuclear bomb to blow all the water away.
Yeah, you drop the bomb, makes a little drain hole for all the water to sink into.
Yeah.
Come on.
Blow it back into the ocean where it came from.
Yeah. Anyways, these days, the idea of nuking hurricanes is pretty much moot, thanks to the 1990 Peaceful Nuclear Explosions Treaty between the US and the Soviet Union, which limits the yield of non-military bombs to just 150 kilotons, which is still 10 times as powerful as Hiroshima, but nowhere near powerful enough to have any effect on a hurricane. But hey, that treaty was signed just a year before one of the two countries that signed it ceased to exist, so who cares? I think that invalidates it, so I think we're good. What if we nuked a hurricane? Come on! Well, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, whose funding does not appear to include web design, has been asked this question frequently enough to justify adding it to their frequently asked questions.
Probably as a goof at first.
I don't know.
The internet likes to have fun.
They don't seem to be treating it as a goof.
Well, not anymore.
They seem frustrated that they have to keep answering this.
Yeah.
And they're putting this out there.
We could be spending time on better
Guys, we have a real purpose here, not just answering your dumbass fucking questions about nukes. Their answer to this question is that hurricanes are absurdly powerful, 5 times as powerful as all of the energy used worldwide in the entire year of 1990.
That was a slow year, though.
Oh, yeah, good point. With a heat release equal to a 10 megaton nuclear bomb exploding every 20 minutes. So, very strong.
I'm sure that...
Strong water, strong wind.
The U.S. probably has more than enough munitions to attack these hurricanes.
Right, you're just, it basically just sounds like we need more nukes.
Yeah, and it creates
same
jobs
time.
because someone has to build those nukes.
Yeah.
Well, nuclear bombs also don't raise air pressure nearly enough to actually affect the low pressure conditions that create hurricanes in the first place. As for why we don't just nuke tropical storms before they come,
Boom.
before they become hurricanes.
A hurricane abortion.
Yeah, no, it's like going back in time to kill Hitler.
Yeah.
You get it before it turns into a monster.
Yeah.
The NOAA points out that this would mean setting off around 80 nukes per year in the Atlantic Ocean because just around 5 of those 80 storms might end up becoming hurricanes. Better safe than sorry. Also, it still might not actually work because even tropical storms are absurdly powerful. But of course, the most obvious reason for not nuking hurricanes is radiation.
Which is good for you.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Nuclear weapons already create radioactive fallout that's harmful to people, animals, and plants, and a hurricane would do a great job at spreading that harmful fallout far and wide. Directly, and you know where it's coming from because the path already existed. So, sorry, Florida.
Well, I mean, maybe Florida could use a little radiation.
Even in the ideal scenario of setting off 80 extremely powerful nukes every year to stop hurricanes before they form, people living on the Atlantic coast would now have to worry about cancer and, all the other things that could potentially come with
fake news.
Radioactive fallout just raining down upon you because of weather systems.
But hey, property values going up.
Yeah.
No more flood insurance, hurricane insurance.
Take the stilts off those houses. Put them on the beach.
Yeah.
They're unsightly so high.
Let's let the tides come right up to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
But while nuking hurricanes might be a terrible, pointless idea, it is just one of many outlandish ideas that have been floated over the years for stopping hurricanes. Now, most of these focus on the fact that hurricanes rely on the ocean's surface being warm and evaporating. So if we somehow cool the ocean's surface, we should be able to stop it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nuke
the caps, the polar ice caps.
Yeah, we got all this ice over here. It's melting. We got to use it before it melts. So let's airlift the ice, drop it on the hurricane.
Cool it down.
You need like 5-10 helicopters. Boom. So the salter sink concept involves putting a bunch of these huge tubes near a hurricane and pumping warm surface water down 650 feet below where it can be cooled. And that would presumably, cool things off enough, no more hurricane. A similar concept from the company At Motion does the opposite. Pumps cold water up to the surface. That idea was devised after 2005's Hurricane Katrina, but when they ran the numbers, the price came out to over $1 billion. Which is nothing compared to the $80 billion in damage that Katrina caused, but considering this idea would only work under completely ideal conditions, there's a strong argument to be made that the $1 billion could probably be spent on more traditional disaster relief instead.
This is a good
Cowards!
This is a good thing for Bezos to just try.
Yeah.
Just try it out.
Yeah, all these fucking rich assholes trying to be the first one to get to Mars, it's not gonna happen in their lifetimes. But what if you stopped a hurricane?
That would be really cool of you.
Yeah.
So the baseline here being that if we did nuke a hurricane, it would probably do nothing, almost certainly do nothing, and almost certainly make things a lot worse.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just a problem that everyone kind of has where, orders of magnitude are very difficult to, comprehend.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, hurricane, it's strong. A nuke. What could be stronger than a nuke? And it's actually every hurricane. They're absurdly strong. The amount of wind power that is being produced in a hurricane is completely incomprehensible.
Well, sad to say that Florida already solved this problem. I can't believe you didn't bring it up from an older episode that we covered back at our other company where when faced looking down or looking up at a hurricane, the Floridians did the only thing they knew how to do. And then shoot at it.
Oh yeah, shoot the hurricane.
Yeah, scare it off your property.
One nuke or 1,000,000 bullets.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Seems like there's a strategy here somewhere. We just got to figure it out.
But bottom line, everyone, you laugh at your president for asking an innocent question that you've probably had on your minds as well, but were too much of a scared little boy or girl to actually ask out loud.
Well, he's asking tough questions.
This man was brave enough to multiple times float the idea of nuking hurricanes, surrounded by some of the toppest minds in this country.
It's just like when you're in school and you honestly don't understand the thing that you're being taught that day, but you don't want to seem like an idiot in front of the rest of the class because they obviously all get it.
You just zip it up.
You zip it up.
You
lay
never
low.
learn. You're not a leader. You'll never be president.
Nope.
With that
you got to
attitude.
ask the tough questions.
Yeah, the tough questions. They may sound ridiculous, absurd. They may have been disproven time and time again, but you know what? Doesn't hurt to ask.
Anyways, it's time now for a brief word from this week's sponsor, starting with Mack Weldon. Mack Weldon is a premium men's essential brand that believes in smart design, premium fabrics, and simple shopping. They're betting that they're the most comfortable underwear, socks, shirts, undershirts, hoodies, and sweatpants that you will ever wear. And if they don't leave you fully satisfied with your first pair, you can keep it. And they'll still refund you.
It's yours.
Yeah, no questions asked.
For the extra sweaty boys and girls out there, including me right now,
yes.
Mack Weldon has a line of silver underwear and shirts that are naturally antimicrobial, meaning they eliminate odor. And not only does Mack Weldon's entire line of basics look good, they also perform well no matter the occasion. work, exercise, going on dates, you name it. And if you visit MacWeldon.com and use our promo code NewsDay at checkout, they'll take 20% off the cost of your first order. Again, that is MacWeldon.com, promo code NewsDay, all one word at checkout, and you'll save 20% off the best underwear and socks of your life.
This episode is also sponsored by Drop, formerly known as Mass Drop. They recently sent us the P37X headset. And that
PC37X.
PC37X, and that's in partnership with Sennheiser. They are great gaming headphones. Sennheiser is a fantastic headphone company, so it's the collaboration that gets it right. If you're doing gaming, if you're doing 30-minute long YouTube video edits, it's perfect. It is obviously still very hot out, so the fact that these headphones have an open back design, it lets air in, stops things from getting sweaty. Warcraft Classic just came out. You're going to lock it down for 2,000 hours. You're going to want some vents.
Yeah.
They're very comfy, obviously, and they're not going to drive you crazy during a long Warcraft sesh. Have Mom bring the bucket.
And most importantly, the audio quality is great. Sennheiser's been making high-quality audio products for over 80 years, and it shows. When you're in game, you can hear exactly where the footsteps are coming from. And the microphone quality is shockingly good. Here's a quick sample I recorded directly through the mic at home.
Oh hey, it's me at home, testing out that microphone for your ears.
Wow! So if you're in the market for a new set of gaming cans, we highly recommend the PC37X by Drop and Sennheiser. It's got over 10,000 purchases on Drop and loads of 5-star reviews. Head over to the link down in the description. Get $20 off your purchase of the PC37X. Again, if you're in the market for a great set of headphones, order the Mass Drop X Sennheiser PC37X by clicking the link down in the description.
All right.
No sweat.
Anyways, back to the news. Last week, Apple's credit card, the Apple Card, it finally became available to the public. And as we said when it was first announced, it actually sounds pretty great and consumer-friendly compared to what's available otherwise. No annual fees, international fees, overdraft fees, or late fees. The actual credit card number and expiration date aren't listed on the physical card, and spending information is stored on your device and not on Apple's servers. Plus, it's got a pretty decent cashback rewards program. The Apple Card is, of course, meant to primarily be used for digital payments via Apple Wallet, but the physical card is there in case that's not an option. But be careful. This is apparently one very dainty credit card.
Ooh, I'm just a little Apple credit card. Don't
take care of me.
Yeah, with a normal non-Apple credit card, you probably just sort of stick it in your wallet and that's it. The idea of cleaning it would be absurd.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
With the Apple Card, though, we're talking about a status symbol that must be cared for and nurtured. And for many people, Apple's official webpage for how to clean your Apple Card is the height of Apple absurdity. It strongly advises against letting the Apple Card come into contact with leather or denim. Which, how would that happen?
Yeah, that's wallets and pants.
Yeah, because if you do it, it's going to risk permanent discoloration. Or don't put it in your pocket or in a bag with loose abrasive items. You're going to scratch it up. And if you fail to heed these warnings, you are advised to follow a very specific cleaning regimen involving microfiber cloths and isopropyl alcohol, not household cleaners. Don't even think about it.
You got to use the Apple brand isopropyl alcohol.
Yeah, well, Apple, unfortunately, completely missed out on selling a special wallet and cleaning kit so they could upsell all their customers with. Come on, guys. This is basic. But at least one company is using the Apple Card to market their titanium wallets that cost between $490 and $980 and promise to truly protect your new, very delicate status symbol.
It's ridiculous.
I store my Apple Card in a vacuum tube. It's backlit.
Yes.
It's the first thing people see when they come into my home.
Oh, someone just stole it from me. Well, at least I have that protection.
Yeah.
Moving on, remember how a few years back in the midst of various scandals, Uber was juggling simultaneously under the leadership of Travis Kalanick. They added a safe riders fee. You guys remember that, I'm sure. That would ensure that they were adequately conducting background checks and vehicle inspections. It was a great thing.
Wow.
Way to go, Uber.
Yeah.
You listened.
A lot of bad stuff was happening. They're like, we're going to do something.
We, as the common folk, we asked the tough questions like, can we please be safe while we're using your service?
How do we cut down on all the rape and murder happening in our cars?
They listened, and they answered, and they said, we're looking into it. And they came back, and they said, safe rider fee.
Yeah.
It sounds like the fee was actually just a bunch of bullshit made to jack up fares and earn Uber a little bit more of your money.
Oh, they lied?
Why would they do such a thing? That's all according to an upcoming book from New York Times writer Mike Isaac titled Super Pumped, The Battle for Uber. And an excerpt from the book was published last week, and it alleges that the $500 million brought in from the safe riders fee never actually got earmarked for anything safety related. One former employee said, "We boosted our margin saying our rides were safer. It was obscene." I don't know if he said it like that, but it's a fun way to say it.
Yeah.
It's not really surprising at all.
No, not at all.
No. Anyways, we can probably look forward to learning about lots of similar nefarious things when that book drops in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm excited. Uber is such a shady company.
The inner workings of tech giants are fascinating.
Yeah, they're all full of terrible people.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to hear about it.
Yes.
Anyways, in other news, there's apparently a very serious new lung disease going around, specifically affecting people who vape. And it's already killed at least one person. The specific details are hard to come by at this point, but the Centers for Disease Control are treating it as a serious problem, with the number of documented cases jumping from 94 to 153 in less than a week. Symptoms include breathing difficulty, coughing, fatigue, chest pain, and weight loss.
Ooh, weight loss, huh?
Ooh, sign me up. And they say it's unlikely that bacteria or a virus are involved. One possible cause, though, if you ask me, could be THC vape cartridges bought off the street, as many patients have acknowledged recent use of THC products, and one patient suspects that it was from a sketchy THC vape liquid that he purchased on the street.
Yeah, sure. A guy was selling Lucy's on the corner and I took one.
And the problem also seems to be most prevalent in and around Illinois, which sounds like a certain shipment of a certain bad batch probably is to blame here. But yeah, friendly reminder, if you're having trouble breathing, you should cut out the smoking and vaping. And also, if you live in a state where weed's legal, don't buy that shit on the street. And if you're too young, just fucking wait.
Yeah. So, anyways, one person died, though. That's the same amount of people that have died from banning plastic straws.
Yeah.
Because that lady fell on a metal straw and went right through her brain.
Couldn't be stopped.
Anyways, next up, as we told you last week, the Chinese government has been using Western social media to spread anti-protester propaganda about the ongoing Hong Kong extradition protests. If you need a rundown, watch last week's episode or open a newspaper.
Yeah.
The latest platform to tackle this problem is YouTube, who announced that they'd shut down 210 channels that they suspected of participating in a coordinated disinformation campaign. However, unlike Twitter, but like Facebook, YouTube said they have no plans to change their ad policies to ban ads from state-funded media outlets, many of which are using advertising to push their propaganda, but they do at least plan to label content from state-backed media outlets more thoroughly. So, nothing.
Yeah, Twitter
coming out looking
gained
good.
a lot of respect from me, surprisingly, compared to how other platforms are tackling this.
And listen, I think it's great. 210 gone.
I'm sure that is
It's
just
very
the surface.
That is such a low number for YouTube. Yes.
There's a lot more. And
turns out we don't even know how to use our algorithm.
yeah.
It's sentient now.
Yeah.
It does what it
Everyone
wants.
who worked here when the site was built, they're long gone.
Yeah.
They don't want anything to do with this. We don't know what we're doing.
Ah,
The car, it's still driving.
yeah.
And we're putting gas in it.
We're
but-
terrified to stop it and see what's under the hood.
Yeah. It could end the world.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of social media disinformation, the Attorney General for Washington, D.C. is currently suing Facebook over that whole Cambridge Analytica thing from a few years back. And as part of that lawsuit, an internal email from 2015 has finally been released to the public showing that, contrary to Mark Zuckerberg's timeline of events, Facebook was well aware of what Cambridge Analytica was up to long before the 2016 election. In this email from September 2015, an unnamed Facebook employee points out that Cambridge Analytica is the largest and most aggressive Facebook client using data to match profiles to voter rolls, and they describe this behavior as sketchy, to say the least. They suggest looking further into what exactly Cambridge Analytica is doing, as well as making their rules around this kind of use of user data much more clear, but as we now know, none of that ended up happening. And here we are today. With a new election right around the corner. Yeehaw! Giddy up.
Yeah. Tell us, keep us in the loop on the comments of what ads are playing before our videos.
I hear about it.
Last year, even the midterms, we had just a ton playing before, and we can't do anything about it.
There's a way, but it's really complicated and weird.
The process is insane, and by the time you actually get a hold of someone, the ads aren't even running anymore.
Yeah.
It's a great shell game they're playing over there.
Yeah.
Anyways, finally, the veggie meat trend, it continues to catch on, and the latest example of this is the fact that KFC, of all places, is teaming up with Beyond Meat to sell fried chicken nuggets that don't contain any chicken. It'll only be on sale for 1 day at a single KFC location in Georgia. I think that's today when we film this, so oops. But if it goes well, just like Burger King did the Impossible Burger and then went nationwide with it, they'll probably expand this if it does well, and I think that it probably will.
Yeah.
Fake beef from Beyond and Impossible Foods has already infiltrated various fast food and sit-down chains across the world, but fake chicken seems to be the next step. And having never tried it, we're at least curious of how accurate it tastes. I mean, I when I was vegetarian when I was younger, this is when I was like 16, had a lot of hopes and dreams, wanted to save the world.
Pie in the sky.
Morningstar chicken patties were great.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about, like, I feel like with chicken nuggets, that's like the best
They had buffalo
form.
chicken nuggets that were really good.
Yeah.
Morningstar did.
Anything like fried, it's like the base protein is not that important. As long as they get the texture right.
And the juiciness.
Yeah, that's another one. Like, I feel like it's going to be dry.
Yeah,
Chicken is very particular.
But I feel like
thing.
chicken's easier than beef. So I'm not worried. I think this is going to be great. The way that I haven't seen what it looks like or anything, but specifically with the way KFC does things and like Popeyes does things, you just make it extra crispy.
Yeah.
Whatever's on the inside doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
People will literally eat just like fried crisp.
They do.
Yeah.
They'll
Delicious.
order a bucket and just eat the skins and then throw everything else in the trash. Don't want it.
I actually tried the Popeyes, the chicken sandwich that has taken the country by storm.
It's made America lose its mind.
I tried it, and we talk about it on an exclusive podcast for Patreon supporters and YouTube members. So if you're a Patreon supporter or a YouTube member and you have access to that, look in your community tab, or if you're on Patreon, check our posts. We have a brand new exclusive podcast. We talk about what we've been doing over the past 2 weeks, going in and out of town and eating. I didn't say it.
Spoiler.
I ate a chicken sandwich, and we did a couple other things. I watched a bunch of shit. Go there to check out all of that, and we'll see you soon for another episode.
All right. Bye-bye.
Watch the other episodes over here.